are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cormac Ryan started his college basketball career at Stanford. Harrison Ingram came to North Carolina from Stanford after 2 years there. I would like to keep that pipeline open from Palo Alto all the way to Chapel Hill. Why? I mentioned on Tuesday that the main piece I'm looking for North Carolina to add in the transfer portal this year is an Armando Bacot replacement. The coaching staff I know is probably having lots of conversations right now, obviously about the NCAA tournament and preparation, but they got to be of split mind to think about next year's roster. Remember, they declined an NIT invite last year specifically to focus on transfer portal. They can't do that with the NCAA tournament, but they do have to have the transfer portal conversations. One of those pieces is Jalen Washington our 5, or do we need to go find somebody? For me, I think Carolina needs to have another person. Even if they think Jalen Washington's the guy, then they need to have somebody behind him. But I think that you need a starter level. So the Armando Bacot replacement is what I need to see. Now, while a different playing style and a different body type, I think there's one from Stanford that jumped into the transfer portal on Tuesday, and he goes by the name of Maxime Raynaud. He's a Stanford guy. I love a good in-conference transfer. Remember, Stanford's coming to the ACC next year. In fact, as people were reporting him jumping into the transfer portal on Tuesday, Jeff Borzello, who's one of ESPN college basketball writers, referred to Raynaud as, quote, the best player in the portal right now, end quote. Here's what I like about Raynaud. He is a 7'1" guy, a true 7-footer. So he's probably going to end up at Purdue. I guess that's what that means. But 7'1", 250. He's from Paris, France, as his name would suggest. He just finished his junior year at Stanford, so would have played with Harrison, came in with Harrison, I guess technically, has no COVID eligibility. He was 1 year after that, so just has 1 year left of school. This year for the Cardinal and Coach Jared Haas, averaged 15 and a half points a game, 9.6 rebounds, shot 56.7% from the field, divided up. It was 61% from 2, 36.1% from 3 on just shy of 2 3-point attempts per game. That's a good thing. That's a Hubert Davis style that you're looking for right there. Can step out and do it. Not to mention, also averages 2 assists and shoots 78.4% from the free throw line. That's right about where Mondo is this year. Man, I love those numbers. I love what he does. Let me give you some more observations and things I've seen from him and heard from others and witnessed. Started 31 games this year, so that's great stuff. Out of 32 games he played, he's not much of a shot blocker. That's the one thing that would be lacking despite being 7'1". He's not a beefy guy. He's a little bit slender. But as you look at his numbers year after year after year, he's gotten better. Literally every year of college, those numbers have grown. And this year, boy, did he have a year. Season highs, he had 29 points twice, one of which was at Arizona. Had multiple high rebounding games. 17 was his high this season. You think about, how did he do against top flight competition? Well, Arizona is the class of the Pac-12. When Stanford went to Arizona this year, listen to this line. 29 points, that was one of those 2. 11 of 19 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block in that game, and just 1 turnover. That is a game against the best team in the entire Pac-12. That's a 2 seed right now. That's really encouraging. And it's been really, like, he's even stepped it up more down the stretch of the season. The final 12 games, he scored 20 or more points 7 times. This season, he had 13 or more rebounds 8 times. That's so impressive. Let me give you a little 4-game stretch he went on in the past month. That game at Arizona kicked it off. 29 points, 6 boards, 5 of 6 from 3. The game after that, they went, I don't know if you're aware, the Pac-12 teams do travel partners, and they go over the course of a weekend, to LA, play USC and UCLA or something like that. So after Arizona, Stanford hosted the LA schools. Against UCLA, 20 points, 10 rebounds. Against USC, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. And then their next game was up at Washington, 19 points, 16 rebounds. That, friends, is a 4-game stretch. And in that stretch, here's his shooting numbers. 36 of 51 from the field. That's 70.5%. 9 of 11 from 3. That's 81.8%. 12 of 16 from the free throw line. That's 75%. Here's some specifics of his game. What I like that I've seen. Because of his ability to step out and shoot it, opponents have to honor that. So he's developed a really nice pump fake, and then he can get to the rim himself with the dribble and finish with either hand. Mind you, I love that. I love the ability to do that. That's not something Carolina. So while he's not as beefy as Armando, he can do that. He's got a nice baseline spin and hook with either hand. Legitimately, he's got really nice feathery touch with both hands. He seems comfortable in both hands. He can move both ways. I'm encouraged by that. Also, I mentioned those 2 assists per game. This year, he had a 15% assist rate. He's not a lot of big guys are black holes. The ball goes in, it don't ever come back out. Not so with Raynaud. And also, because of what he does out on the perimeter, I've also seen him complete multiple good looks from the outside over the top or entry passes or things or finding a cut or things like that. Nice assist rate. He's got a 9.4 offensive rebounding assist rate. Obviously, that's not on par with Armando, but it's good. One thing I will say about his 3-point shot as you watch it, you think about Randy Johnson. Remember the pitcher for the Diamondbacks? Dominant pitcher. Because of his huge size, sometimes the mechanics have to be worked. With Raynaud, he's got a pretty decent form on his shot from outside. It is slow in his windup. It's not a quick trigger by any means, and he brings the ball from low. I'd like to see him start higher, but with that frame, he starts low and brings it up. But when he's got space to get a shot off, he can, and it works. And sometimes even when he doesn't have space because of his height, he's still able to get it off. So I'd like him to pick up with that. But if he was able to come to Carolina, obviously there's shooters galore on the coaching staff who could help. There's also Sean May who can help with all that inside game stuff. So I would love to see how Carolina could develop him. And can you imagine the pick and roll game that he and Elliot Cadeau could have together? Oh my word. Come on with that. So Maxime Raynaud from Stanford, a transfer portal target that I would love to see Carolina go after.